an introduction, and Frost is actually one of my longest introductions, but I guess when you've got like a full lobby of casters, let me just put chat, game starting, see you guys soon. Sorry about that. Anyways, DaNa versus Scarlett on Frost. It's going to be ZVZ. This will probably, I don't know, like, again, I kind of like, heart goes to DaNa, head goes to Scarlett on this one. Just because of, you know, results in the past. But DaNa is not someone to underestimate at all, guys. And I see you guys linking stuff in chat. I would really greatly appreciate it if you guys didn't start trolling Todd and didn't start a fight where it isn't necessary. I don't know what his deal is, but it's not worth fighting over, in my opinion. That being said, I can't control you guys, and I'm not going to go out of my way. Just one polite request out of the caster today. Anyways, without further ado, spawning here in the lower left corner of the map, playing for Team Acer here in this team league. It is the light blue, the teal, the cyan, Zerg player Scarlett. And her opponent in the lower right, representing mYinsanity, one of the younger members on the team, it is the pink Zerg player DaNa. Now again, everyone knows a lot about Scarlett. I don't feel like I need to build her up, and there's not a whole lot I can do to build up DaNa, but if you guys have seen my cast before, you know I actually really enjoy this young buck, as it were. I got to see him play a lot and go for StarCraft back when he was on Vega Squadron. He was a player that was above average at the time, and I was like, okay, this is kind of cool. I'd love to see him do better. And he did do better. Then he got on mYinsanity, and he's had a pretty good run with him ever since. He's not done any crazy results, and he's not exactly winning a DreamHack anytime soon, but he's still a really good player who's often in the finals, if not the semifinals of most of the weekly cups. So coming up here against Scarlett, I would not at all say he's completely outclassed. And if anyone thinks that going into this series, you're dead wrong, because let's be honest, it's ZVZ. Now, if these are like 10-minute, 15-minute no-rush Roach Wars, then maybe DaNa loses. I don't know, because Scarlett's able to go for those special tactics that we've seen her pull off in the past, but, you know, it's really, I feel like DaNa's going to be the one who has to work to make this series go his way. Of course, this is the semifinals for the winter, the EES, the ESL Euro Series, guys, the Winter League, the Team League. And the winner of this whole match, not this series here, goes on in the finals, so if you're unfamiliar with this, there's possibly up to 5 best-of-3 games to be played out today. They will be played out in succession, because of course this is the finals, not the not like a qualifier match or anything like that. Anyways, spawning pool coming down from Scarlett, a little bit behind DaNa's. DaNa, of course, did open with a little bit of an earlier one, but his hatch rate is delayed because of this. Not a big deal. It's kind of the very common thing you see in this matchup. It's actually, I gotta say, it's really one of my favorite things when you watch players go mirror to mirror, like so matched up, where it's like, oh, the pool timing is within seconds of another, the hatchery timing is within seconds of one another, but not this case, unfortunately. Now in ZVZ, let's be honest, there's like really 3 main pathways this matchup tends to go. One is either the Zergling Bandling aggression, which is fantastic. You keep an eye on the clock, and it's usually around the 6 minutes with those larva injects that you start seeing some Zerglings get produced and drones get cut. If that doesn't happen, typically it skips over to the next phase of roaches. Look for evolution chambers, look for layer timing. If that's not going to happen, then usually it's option number 3, the Mutalisks. And Mutalisks are, well, that's funny. They've had a strange, if you think about it, Mutalisks have had one of the strangest transitions. Like, I often talk about the Reaper, but the Mutalisks were, like, so powerful at the start of the Swarm. No one used them and realized that right away, though. Then everyone started getting on the Mutalisk train, so they had to buff the hell out of Spore Growers just to shut Mutalisks down. So we saw them go away for, like, 3 months. Then they came back in full force. People said, I hate roaches. Sick of Roach Wars. I'll go back to Mutalisks. And even though Spore Growers are still incredibly strong right now, you still see people stubbornly go for them. I don't know that DaNa is going to be the person to necessarily do it, but Scarlett does have some pretty darn good Mutalisk control, and some of my favorite games to cast of her actually were Kane. Sorry, I was just trying to remember the name. Kane, actually, ironically enough, now on mYinsanity, wasn't at the time. I believe it was either the Red Bull qualifiers or one of the IEM qualifiers, but he had a really epic ZVZ series against her. And the thing that was so awesome to watch against Scarlett was, you know, they both went Mutalisk versus Mutalisk, but she lost the Mutawars, and usually you see a player tap out when that happens, but she managed to buckle down, get Spore Crawlers, a couple of Infestors out, get, like, a good Fungal here or there, and, like, really brought it back. But sometimes that is a lot easier said than done. Oh, I messed up over here.
First Blood.
Totally almost forgot. Got so busy nerding out about Scarlett. But coming across the map here with a couple lings, DaNa is going to try and get a scout off. One of the lings is already incredibly low, though, so I think the Queen should be able to snipe these lings off. Yeah, so not going to quite get towards the main, unfortunately. And as a Zerg player, what you're trying to do with these lings more than anything else is really check the timings. Like, when you get up here, you want to see if that gas is down, if the layer's begun, if there's evolution chambers hiding, hell, if there's a Bailey nest tucked behind the mineral line. But Scarlett looks like she is going to skip ahead forward and go for what looks to be Mutalisks, maybe, I'd say with a bit of a question mark, but of course she's not going to be afforded that opportunity to go right to them, as DaNa's got a Baneling Nest and a lot of Lings on the way, and that's what I was talking about, guys. It's usually about that 6-minute inject. You really got to keep your eye on what's going on, because the last thing you want to do is get completely caught off guard by this. Now Scarlett does have the wall off coming down. There's the evolution chamber there too, and I believe this is a full wall off. I think 3 evolution chambers does it. Yeah, so DaNa kind of stuck outside the base for a moment. Could try and slam into the wall, but if he does, then of course there's queens to shell away from behind. An additional spine crawler coming down. Really like this choice out of Scarlett. One of the scariest things is like under preparing for an attack like this. You might think, okay, I've got 3 queens, I've got a spine crawler, I'm good to go, and then suddenly it's just way too many banelings for you to contend with. Cancels the second spine crawler though, realizing, okay, there's no further aggression and there's not a lot more Lings at my doorstep. One thing that's really scary for DaNa now though, he's still going for that +1 carapace. He's going for a layer, but he's behind Scarlett. She's already on her way to Aspire. Oh, I guess Scarlett back home in Canada, maybe? Say the question mark. Hopefully the lag won't be too much of an issue here for DaNa. So to evaluate real quick, guys, like basically what you want to do with this is if you see your opponent is unprepared, you usually flood a huge reinforcements after this. You keep slamming wave after wave of Zerglings in and try and bust through Scarlett's front door. But because DaNa wasn't afforded that opportunity, it's not really going to happen. She is going to try and tear down one of her spine or evolution chambers now. She's got a couple banelings for defense. Realistically, with some decent control, not at all scared. And DaNa didn't follow up with some crazy LN. He's still keeping up with workers. My greatest fear is the fact that well, his Spire is so late. Now, one thing that's going to be okay for this, and this is weird to consider, is there's actually not going to be a huge imbalance of Mutalisks. Because there wasn't a ton of gas spent on banelings for DaNa. Like, he didn't make 18 banelings to waste and not use at all. He's still got a gas bank that's, you know, it's a little bit behind Scarlett's, but not significantly. As far as coming across the map goes, Scarlett, you know, she might initially have the Mutalisk or two, but with Defender's advantage combined with the fact that he reinforces from home, a defensive fight might go well for DaNa. Third base is on the way, though, and this is how he's going to look to get ahead in this game. One of the biggest things with having these Lings... Ooh, no, that was really bad for DaNa. Loses his entire Ling contain, and this is... Okay, maybe that was some of the lag he was talking about, I don't know. But what he was supposed to be doing right now is making sure the Scarlett didn't push out, and more importantly, the Scarlett didn't take a third base. Now can do neither of these things, and on top of that, cannot even defend his own third base. 20 Lings are coming out, but that's a lot of larvae he would have loved to put towards Mutalisk, which he can no longer do. I love the Spore Crawlers coming out, though. 4. Not underestimating just how scary this is. He's going to have more than enough anti-air. The problem is with Spore Crawlers, they're limited. They can't quite cover everything, and they're the furthest... Well, they're not mobile, is the point I'm trying to make here as I stutter through my words. Lots of Lings moving across the map, but Scarlett's got a lot coming across too for DaNa. He might have the Carapace upgrades going for him, but that's about it. And realistically, that's not a whole lot. We'll try and run past this wall, though. It's not covered. Might be able to get this queen. Goes for the top of the ramp. Mutalisks might be brought home for this, will be brought home for this, and this is actually fantastic. So the damage DaNa's going to get done here is non-existent. These Lings are going to die. But this buys him critical amounts of time. Those like 10 seconds, 15 seconds it takes the Mutalisks to respond to come home and then again fly across the map. That's the difference of him having enough Mutalisks out versus not having a chance in hell to fight against Scarlett. Now it's 9 Mutalisks versus 9, and of course we all know 1 Mutalisk can really make a big difference. But of course, again, DaNa's going to have the potential of the home field advantage. Spore Crawlers are down. Spine Crawlers are down. It's all about trying to catch each other off guard. Now Scarlett's got one huge advantage going for her. Carapace is on the way. Once that completes, Mutalisk numbers, even though even, will still be a little bit easier for her to win those fights. Also taking that third base, one big thing is if you can't kill, like if you literally cannot kill the extractor, or sorry, Mutalisk of your opponent, you know, to get that one Mutalisk advantage to take a decisive fight, getting the gases, out-producing your opponent. Instead of going negative, go positive. If you can't kill, make! And if that's going to be the case, Scarlett is certainly going to pull ahead. For DaNa, though, you know, he knows his third got canceled. He knows it had to be, like, destroyed, or not canceled, rather killed. He knows that he's going to be in the hole in that regard. Can he make up the difference is going to be the big question. Sniping off the geysers would be a pretty good start, but with the queen there for damage, and of course the slightly higher Mutalisk count here for Scarlett, DaNa's got to be careful not to take this engagement, and I think he knows this too. I mean, more so than anything else, he's fighting the home turf of a Zerg player. This is kind of in CVZ your best advantage point, like to defend. But DaNa takes a couple of bad hits, goes for the Overlord Force. That's going to cost him about 3 Mutalisks right off the bat. And Scarlett has already got so many, she's already ahead in a big way. DaNa's going to stubbornly fight this out, but good game is called. And game number 1 is going to go to Acer Scarlett.